Hi guys, I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was beautiful out there. Next week we're going to be moving into our next unit, which is on portraiture. Today I'm going to be doing a demonstration for you on portrait proportions and how to draw facial features. There are two drawings that I would like you to turn in by next Monday. The first is a simple drawing of the face, facial features placed, showing the proportions on the face. And the next drawing is 9 different facial features: 3 eyes, 3 noses, and 3 mouths. Okay, so in the assignment, I included this PDF worksheet, which shows all of the different proportions of the face that you could be thinking about. I would definitely pull this up, take a look at it. It will definitely help you out. I'm going to do a little demonstration for you right now. I drew this out a little bit earlier today. I'm going to draw another one right next to it. First, you can see how I'm holding my pencil. I'm kind of holding it from the side, keeping it nice and loose. I'm drawing an oval, or really more of an upside down egg shape, to get the basic shape of the face in there. Keep it loose, keep it light, keep your pencil lines light. Try to use up as much of the paper as you can. Then I lay in the line of symmetry that divides the face in half. And I'm looking at the chin, and I'm looking at the top of the head. I'm looking at that line segment, and I'm figuring out where halfway is. Halfway is right about there. I draw a line. That's going to become my eye line. A lot of people end up drawing the eyes too high on the head. There's really a lot of forehead here, and actually the hairline starts somewhere right about there. Next, I'm going to look between the eye line and the chin line, and I look for about halfway. So halfway, maybe actually just a tiny bit above halfway, is where the nose is. These are general proportions. So when you actually sit down to draw a person in front of you or work from a photograph, you have to do a little bit of measuring just to kind of make sure, where is the nose? Is it really halfway between the eye line and the chin, or is it a little bit higher? Because everyone's face is a little bit different. Then I'm going to draw a line that is, I'm going to look at this segment between the nose and the chin, and I imagine this being divided into thirds. I draw a light line across the top third. That's going to be for the mouth. This right here is going to be the chin. This next lower third is going to be where the chin is. Now I like to draw just kind of an eye socket shape. Imagine a skull. You could actually feel kind of along the top of your eye socket and the bottom of your eye socket. But that's where the eyes are going to be placed. And I use this because it helps me with where the eyebrows go, because the eyebrows usually sit right along the top of the eye socket. I'm going to sketch in lightly an oval for the eyes. They're going to be smaller. They're going to sit within the size of this shape. Sometimes people draw eyes too big, sometimes too small. I want to have the eyes, you should be able to fit like an eye between the eyes to give you an idea of spacing the eyes. So that's where the eyes are going to go. Just light shape drawn there. The nose, I'm going to draw a circle for the ball of the nose, the end of the nose. And then from the inside of the eye, I draw a line going straight down, kind of like from the tear duct of the eye. Line going straight down. And then I draw a circle on either side for the nostrils. The mouth, if I draw a line down from the center of the eye going down, that's going to mark the edges of the mouth. Going to be right around there. Now I start to put in some of the shape of these features. The top of the eye is rounded curve. The bottom of the eye is a little bit more flat, even goes up a little bit in the tear duct, and then just slightly down and back up. Here's the iris and the pupil. And then, very important to draw, well, sometimes I jump over here and I draw the other side first. And kind of a curve. Again, this is a generalized shape of the eye. The next exercise with drawing the different features, I want you to look at how, eyes come in lots of different shapes. And it's observing carefully what the shape is that really helps you to achieve a likeness of somebody. So I've got the eye, and then I'm going to look for the eyelid. This is a really important feature to look for. Sets the eye into the head. And again, there's another feature to look carefully at, like how close does it get to, the top of or where the eyelashes are? What kind of space is there? That will also distinguish, one person from another. The eyebrow will go right over top. Lightly sketch that in there. All right, now when you're drawing the nose, I'm going to start with the nostrils. And again, it depends on whether we're looking straight at the person, how much of the nostril we see, if we're a little bit above or if we're a little bit below. But the shape of the nostril is a little bit like that. Goes up, down. Usually save the shading, but I can add some of that in there. And then with the nostrils, kind of like parentheses that go around. A lot of people will end the nostril right at end this area around the nostril, right at the nostril, but you want to scoop underneath it just a little bit. Eventually these shapes get erased away a little. If you're probably going to have, a little bit of shading on either side of the bridge of the nose, but the nose doesn't need anything on the side, is usually lightly shaded. There's no hard lines that go along the edges of the nose. You see people drawing noses like this. You don't want to, have those lines going all the way around the outside of the nose. Now the mouth. When you're drawing the mouth, look carefully at the mouth. You'll see in the center it usually dips down a little bit, it's like a little V, like a V shape in the center, and then it drops down, and then it usually lifts up just a little bit right towards the edges of the mouth. And it lifts up, and then looking at the upper lid, sometimes it goes all the way to the end. And then the lower part of the lip, look carefully. You don't have to go all the way with this. Often there's a little bit of shadow underneath the lower part of the lip. Sometimes the upper lip is really thick, sometimes it's thin, sometimes the lower lip. You compare the two when you're drawing the person that you're drawing. All right, now jumping to the ears. The ears usually sit within, between the eye line and the nose line. So I'm going to lightly draw in the ear shape here. Okay, place all this here. Now for the ears, I think about the parts of the ear. There's this cartilage up at the top. Drawing in the cartilage. It's at the top. And then there's this trumpet-shaped piece of cartilage. It tucks into that. And then there's the earlobe, like if you were to plug your ears, here's the hole going into your ear. And then at the bottom, there's the earlobe. And then connecting to the two, there's this thin little piece of cartilage that usually runs around the outside. These are the very basic structures of the ear. Look carefully at the person that you're drawing to see how they look unique. Okay, this is the bottom of the chin. Hairline, usually right about there. Going around the sides of the face. When you draw hair, you want to generally look at the overall shape of the hair before you get in and start rendering any fine details. Looking carefully at the shape of the face, so we've got the cheek, come down to the jaw. Right around the mouth is where the jaw really angles in. Cheek coming down right around the mouth, where the jaw will angle in. And then usually the neck will kind of connects up here behind the ear, usually thinner than the jaw, but don't draw it too thin. And then there'll be these muscles that kind of help to support the weight of the head. Okay, so turning in one of these, this is going to be one of the drawings that you turn in this week. The next drawing is this one. For this one, what I want you to, what we're trying to get away from when we draw a portrait of someone is we want to get away from generalized features. And these features look realistic, but they're kind of generalized. So I created this exercise, found all these different eyes and noses and mouths, and I'd like you to practice drawing them and really try to observe what makes them unique, what makes them all different. And so the way to set this up, this is the example that I did. Take a sheet of paper, divide it into a grid of 9. Give yourself a little bit more vertical space in the center for the noses. Okay, and then I'm going to show, just right here in the center with the eye, start kind of loose, the same way that I did with the head. Keep it loose, and then I'm looking for the shape of the eye. What is that line? When does it angle down? This lid, the relationship between the lid, top of the eye. Get the iris, the pupil. How much space does the iris take up? There's actually, if I look really closely here, there's a reflection in the eyelid, and you can even see the shadow of the eyelashes coming down into the eyelid. And all those little observations, if you can capture them, are really going to bring a lot of life to your drawing. And then I'm looking at this line across the bottom, the lower lid, and it goes mostly slopes up and then down. It doesn't really go down. And that's an important observation that you want to make when you're looking at it. Jumping down here to the nose, I've got the bridge of the nose, the bottom of the nose, and I start off with these very simple shapes. I'm thinking about how the shapes compare, and then I start, I'm not seeing his nostrils. It's pointed down a little bit, very lightly along the side. Actually, mustache is coming out there. And then there's just a little bit of shadow to define the edges of the nose. What is the shape? And then down here, this mouth, I'm looking at the line. What's it doing? It's actually kind of sloping down slightly. Not a whole lot of up or down with this. But the lip kind of scoops down a little bit and up towards the ends. This dark shadow in the ends of the lips. The upper lip and the lower lip are about the same size. Trying to observe the shape of the upper lip, the shape of the lower lip. And I can start to go in and add a little bit of shading. Shading the upper lip, usually the light is coming from above, so that usually casts the upper lip into a little bit of shadow. And that can be a nice way to give the lips a sense of form. You see when I start shading, I shade very, very lightly in the beginning, and then I start to push my values a little bit darker. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope everybody has a safe and healthy week ahead. Next week, I'll be doing a video on how to light a subject for a portrait.